Today I'll be explaining you regarding the procedure lumbar microdiscectomy. So our body is supported by the spine, which consists of bones, and in between the bones there are cushion-like structures called as discs. Due to age-related degeneration or strain caused to the spine due to any of the conditions like fall, trauma, prolonged sitting, some sports, heavy weight lifting or prolonged driving can lead to slippage of the disc and cause compression of the nerve roots behind, leading to swelling. In this condition, the patient can have varying range of symptoms like low backache, leg pain, tingling numbness in the legs, weakness of some of the movements of the legs, and in some cases, bowel bladder dysfunction also. If severe, such cases need to be operated. So as explained in the video of pre-operative workup, once the surgery is planned and patient is admitted and placed under general anesthesia, we'll be turning the patient on his stomach and exposing the back area. We will be marking the level at which we have to do the surgery, and also we'll be cleaning the whole back area and draping it. There will be a very small cut on the lower back through which we'll be going inside and removing the part of the disc which is compressing the nerve roots. We will ensure that the thecal sac and the nerve roots are free, followed by which a drain will be placed to collect waste blood for around 3 to 5 days, and again we'll be suturing it up. Post-surgery, dressing will be placed. Patient will be again turned on the back in sleeping position and we'll get the patient out of support, post which patient will be observed for minimum 3 to 4 hours in the recovery area which is just outside the OT. Once stable, patient will be shifted to room. So on the day of surgery, we won't be giving the patient any food or water. We'll be waiting for the patient to pass some flatus. Once he passes some flatus, that is gas, we'll be giving liquids on the first day after surgery, and also by wearing the belt, we'll make the patient walk. Once the patient passes some stools, we'll be starting soft diet on day 2 of surgery, and if possible, we'll also be removing the Foley's catheter. In 3 to 5 days, once the drain quantity comes down, we'll be discharging the patient, and 10 days after the discharge, the patient will have to review for suture removal. Post-operatively, the pain will come down slowly. The patient can feel some tingling, numbness and paresthesias in the legs. Definitely, he has undergone a surgery, so there will be some surgical site pain for a few days, which we'll be managing with medications. With the advancement in medical science, 95% there are no issues in this surgery. But definitely, any surgery will have 1 to 5% of risks. First is bleeding. We will be reserving blood for the patient. In case of any major bleeding, which is a very rare event, we might have to do blood transfusion. Second is infection, which includes surgical site infection, wound infection, and very rarely even spine infection, which is known as discitis. Delayed wound healing or difficulty healing of the wound can happen in old patients or patients who are already suffering from some conditions like diabetes. In that case, we might have to do delayed suture removal. Patient can have leak of the spinal fluid from the surgical site, which is known as cerebrospinal fluid, which is also extremely rare. This happens because of puncture of the dura because of severe compression over a prolonged period of time. If there is any leak of fluid from the surgical site, we need to do regular suturings, and this can lead to delayed wound healing, chances of infection, and also delayed suture removal. Again, this event is extremely rare. If the patient is having already some neurological deficit, say some movement weakness, leg weakness, then we have to improve it by physiotherapy post-surgery. The aim of any neurosurgical procedure is to prevent further neurological deficits and to prevent further neurological damage. But even during the surgery, there are chances of injury to nerve roots, very rare, 1%, which can lead to weakness and which can lead to certain weakness of some foot or some toes. Since the lumbar nerve roots, they also supply the bowel and bladder. Rarely, patient might have bowel bladder issues and with prolonged need for catheterization post-surgery. The patients who already have some bowel bladder issues before surgery itself, they are more prone to it. Post-surgery, patient can face some bowel disturbances like constipation. Post-surgery, we want the patient to get out of ventilator support. Rarely, there can be need for ventilator support or ICU stay for 1 or 2 days. Very rare chances of any cardiac event or decline in cardiac parameters can be there during the surgery or post-surgery, because any surgery under general anesthesia is a stress to the heart. In few cases, there can be recurrence of disc in the future, need for resurgery. Sometimes if the bony segments are moving, we might also have to fix in the future. The chances are mere 2 to 6%. And definitely, we are doing the surgery under general anesthesia, so 0.5 to 1% life risk will always be there. After the surgery, the first follow-up will be after 10 days of discharge, wherein we'll be seeing the wound and removing the stitches if the wound has properly healed and giving you appropriate medications. The next review will be for around after 3 to 4 months. After the surgery, slowly you can get back to work, but initial 3 months, you have to avoid bending, you have to avoid any sort of heavy weight lifting or any sort of exertional activities.